I was denied. I was told I couldn't get nothing to drink. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I mean, it was continuously that my constitutional rights were violated.
Hi, this is Kimberly. Welcome to day 5 of Piece of Shit's very public meltdown. I mean, day 5 of Gannon being falsely flagged as a runaway. Oh yeah, they had amended that. And now G-Man, our little boy Blue, was on his second day of law enforcement exploring the possibility that he could very well be an endangered missing child. This day, January 31st, 2020, was day 5 in developments surrounding the events of the Letecia Stauch case. Before we get into the debacle that was Piece's way of being an attention whore, where she, with righteous indignation, briefed the public about what was her truth. That was just a bunch of dumbasses that got it all wrong. This was important, y'all. She needed the news media because announcing everything on Facebook and arguing with strangers, she wasn't getting through, and they were not feeling sorry for her in the way she had anticipated. It's all a big misunderstanding, you see. Y'all have an erroneous interpretation. Social media would just no longer do. Well, she acted up and was getting a reaction, and I'm not quite certain if shit show was what she was going for. If it was, she was spot on, y'all. She said she needs the community to try and help find Gannon. They have been, you stubborn bitch. It's you that keeps doing a disappearing act. People have been making false accusations, such as saying she's not been there to help, and Facebook users claiming she's been missing. You are just mean and hateful, she exclaimed. You mean like you, piece of shit? She finds it uncomfortable that her husband's ex-wife is staying at their home. You mean that woman that was still married to him, to Albert, when you and Albert started dating? Inability said she was kinda told she couldn't be there to help with the family. Well, promiscuity, the last time you helped with the family, Gannon quote-unquote went missing, right? Your services were no longer required. And she said, "Of course, I'm not coming home. Not when I was kinda told I couldn't," she said. Much to her surprise, she was told she wasn't complying with the El Paso Sheriff's Office, and then she asked the reporter if she could elaborate on that, and he said, "Please do. No, please continue. I love hearing your lies." I hope she chokes on her lies and dies. She claims she was initially denied her request for a lawyer by sheriff's office detectives, who also refused to put water in her sippy cup or let her go to the potty. They even went as far as to block the door, she said, so that she was not free to leave. Well, if you were all free from guilt, why would you need to find the door? Help find Gannon, G, as you call him. Get off your ass and help look for him. God damn it, off your ass and on your feet. I feel that piece of shit exaggerates a little bit, but she insists that her constitutional rights were violated by those that uphold the law. And just so I understand, smarty, are you talking about those people that take a solemn oath to honor the Constitution of both the United States and their state as well, and to uphold the law and protect citizens, even the stupid, drunk, ignorant ones? It's mostly a thankless job until someone finds themselves needing the police, at which point their attitude and opinions will rapidly change. Call 911, call 911. Those that were just bad-mouthing the police right before that. The interviewer asked Pisa, "You were the last person to see him, is that right?" She said, "Correct." Careful, Pisa. The more detailed your story, the bigger your lies. Chatty said, "My husband's ex-wife is living in our home." Yeah, that was really sticking in her craw. She was spewing utter bullshit to make people feel bad for her, but in reality it just made everyone hate her more. People have asked her time and time again to cut the bullshittery, but she was just perplexed as to why they were disbelieving in her and her shit. Bullshit spewing out of those duck lips that just can't stop flapping. The roles reversed on this day between law enforcement and Pisa. If you'll remember from the previous video, Pisa the day beforehand had some free time to cover her muddy tracks while the presser was going on, with almost everyone there being all distracted and shit with that, including Al and Landon. While T was doing her exclusive tea talk with the reporter, with the very courteous and on-the-spot television 11 News reporter Spencer Wilson from KKTV, investigators and a whole host of people were busy at work trying to find our hero, make that superhero G-Man. And I don't know when or where they did it, but they got all slick on her and put one of those GPS trackers on that shiny new silver rent-a-car that Aunt T signed and paid for. After El Paso Sheriff's Office investigators seized piece of shit's Volkswagen Tiguan on January 29, 2020, she obtained a 2020 Nissan Altima. Investigators applied for and were granted a search warrant by this court to install a GPS tracker on this vehicle. Investigators monitored this tracking device, which provided particularly useful information of what was going on this day that we're covering, January 31st, 2020. Later, investigators began to focus a search effort for Gannon's remains in the area of Highway 105 and South Perry Park Road in Douglas County, Colorado. This search took place February 12, 2020. Not sure of why they had that long delay, but there is not an exact address to reference due to the rural nature of this area. That's where the GPS just gives up and says, well, you're here, or it just stops talking, even if you berate it and call it names, like I do. My GPS, her name's Roxanne. She can be a real bitch sometimes. We have a love-hate relationship, but yeah, sometimes she'll get all irate and shit when I miss a turn, and she'll be like, make a legal U-turn, make a legal U-turn, and she'll repeat it over and over until I do it, and I'm like, shut up, bitch. This particular location was deemed important based on raw data from the Tiguan from January 28th and the location data from her rental vehicle on January 31st. So she went there the 28th and again on the 31st. So she was in this area the day we're focusing on, of course, but this was not found until much later with the GPS tracker. I don't know what is involved in getting the information off of the tracker, but we'll probably find out later. Line 151 of the arrest affidavit reads, quote, I submit a reasonable theory for the fact Letecia returned to this area based on the information presented in this affidavit as follows. Letecia disposed of Gannon's remains at night time and likely was nervous about the location she chose and may not have even remembered exactly where, and this is their words, not mine. She may not have even remembered exactly where she dumped Gannon's remains. Investigators believe that on January 31st, 2020, she went back to the area to view the area while sunlight was available, to ensure no evidence was viewable from the road, and to ensure his remains were adequately covered to prevent detection, and to see if any law enforcement was in the area. Apparently they weren't, or they would have caught her red-handed. But anyway, investigators recovered limited GPS and location data from Letecia's phone. Oh, is that what took so long? However, there are crucial time periods that investigators were not able to recover location history because piece of shit turned her flippin' phone off. So, before we really get rolling on this day, January 31st, let's break for some tea. I was pondering what kind of tea bag our piece of shit is, and, well, I just couldn't narrow it down. She most definitely is the kind of tea that means gossip and misinformation, and if you spill it, that means to tell the truth about something, juicy or scandalous. She's definitely that kind of tea. I just can't wait to get into court and they start spilling all of those 5-gallon buckets of tea, buckets full, pitchers, mason jars, Tupperware containers and jugs and tubs. And I like sweet tea, but she is no sweetie, sweet tea, you know? I call my granddaughters that. She is definitely not one. I wonder if there will be a way to contain all of this tea, though. Should we wear waders? It's going to be strong tea, I do know that, 'cause tea bag will be sitting there all brewing and shit. Things not going her way, and she hates when that happens. She has a hard time remaining silent, and she'll be sitting there all demurely with her hands in her lap. Not 'cause she's attempting to pull off being all ladylike and shit. No, that ship has sailed. It's because she will be shackled. That poor dear. Not Pisa. I'm talking about that big burly officer who may or may not have to get on the floor and wrestle with femininity. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself again talking about court and shit. I'm just on the edge of my seat, waiting for this trial to start. Where did we leave off? Oh yeah, I was pondering what kind of bag piece of shit is. Tea bag. I used to sing I'm a Little Teapot to my grandchildren when they were infants and newborns and babies and toddlers, and they still politely put up with me singing it from time to time, or every time I see them. I get so excited because I know they love this whenever I do it. I do the full motions and everything. It's like one of those artistic interpretive dances. No one knows what to do when I start leaping and cavorting about. And of course, I use my arms. One is my handle and one is my spout. You know how it goes. Here is my handle, here is my spout. And I don't know why, but they all look away in unison just as I'm about to do the finale. Tip me over and pour me out. Then there's drama, because at that point I've usually thrown out my back, or they will hear a loud popping noise coming from my general area, one of my joints, or my knee, or elbow, my ass. And since I tend to panic and shit, 'cause, well, y'all probably think I have my shit together. I do kind of, but damn it, I want to participate. I always got bad marks in that area in school, and now I want to have my shit together because I don't know if y'all know, but I'm kind of a big deal. You know, my husband, bless his big teddy bear heart, but he is so concerned about social distancing that when I go to do my teapot ensemble song and dance, he's so concerned about social distancing that he keeps sliding his chair backwards until he's sitting in the hall closet, and I have to shout for him to warn him I'm about to do my ensemble. And he'll shout back, just go ahead, I'll listen from here. Bless his heart. And he's always concerned too that I'll hurt myself. Once I pounced up out of my rocking chair when Shakira came on the TV, and I was so determined. I was determined that I could do that shit with my hips too. My husband was so overcome with emotion that he couldn't speak. He just took me by the arm and escorted me back to my chair. Such a gentleman. You know, Pisa got her teapot all steamed up too, but I saw that black tea requires a lengthier production process. She does make a production, and it's usually a lengthy one at that. It's also one of the most popular drinks in the world, particularly so in Great Britain and Ireland. I do have quite a few subscribers from the UK, so that seems to be very fitting. I did take issue, though, with the claim online that black tea can lower one's blood pressure. If our tea is black tea, no, she doesn't lower one's blood pressure. I'm getting confused with this story. Anyway, a good cup of tea, though, does require water that is brought to a rolling boil. At least that's what my mom taught me. I'm not certain, but I'm pretty damn sure I could make a proper cup of tea before I could even tie my shoes. But Pisa does the rolling boil thing, and with my blood pressure, maybe I should partake in some chai tea. It touts itself to be mentally clarifying and energizing, yet all calming and shit, all at the same time. I need to get a little bit of that shit. Eleanor Roosevelt said, quote, "A woman is like a tea bag. You can't tell how strong she is until you put her in hot water," end quote. That's very astute. From my view, Piece of Shit showed herself to be just like Chris and Shit Watts, a namby-pamby, deceitful, weakling, mendacious, bullshitting, fibbing, fake, homicidal, nasty, vulgar, gobshit, slanderous, contemptuous, mistreating, obscene, crude, toe-rag, reproachful, hateful, wicked, malicious, abusing, lily-livered, that inflicted vile, destructive acts upon G-Man Gannon. She just needs to drop the fuck dead and go straight to goddamn hell. Hey, Pisa, they just invented a new coffin just for you. It goes over the head. Even a square head like yours. It's for people who are dead from the neck up. Piece of bitch. That damn interview she did. I'm glad to see she's not letting her education get in the way of her ignorance. She needs to give the police the zip code for the state of denial she's living in. She has given another interview very recently, another damn shit show that I will address at some point. She moves too damn fast for me, like a goddamn mouse scurrying away. Not that I have mice, mind you. If I did, you would hear me screaming like a girl. No matter where you live in relation to me, you'll hear me screaming if I see any kind of anything creeping and crawling around. Sometimes my husband creeps and crawls around. Think he's trying to leave without me knowing. It's usually when I'm in the middle of one of my stories. Okay, well, and our pest control person, when they hear me screaming, our pest control person will call to see if I'm all right. I saw a buck once, and I went into such a state of hysteria that I went to visit my daughter for about 2 weeks. My husband called up and cussed out the Orkin guy, and I've not seen a buck since then. He told him, "My wife left me because of you." Isn't that sweet? That just melted my heart. It was the most romantic gesture he's ever made. And Piece of Shit just loves being in the spotlight and giving interviews. Superstar. Remember that skit on Saturday Night Live, and it was of the Catholic schoolgirl? She always had her arms folded across her chest with her hands tightly pressed in her armpits and her upper arms held tight against her body so that her dirty hands couldn't escape. And then she would smell her hands really deeply after they had been in her armpits. It was nasty and funny all at the same time. She wanted to be a superstar, and she would superstar and go down on one knee and then do the jazz hands thing. I used to do jazz hands. I need to start again. Anyway, I'm quite the rebel wanderer today, but I must rein myself in so that I might complete my slipshod timeline. As a reminder, we are on day 5 of the Gannon Stauch case, Friday, January 31st, 2020, and I keep veering off, and I apologize to those that hate when I do that, and I say, thank you, that's very sweet, to those that don't mind it and actually encourage my rebel behavior. Piece of Bitch said, "I'm just ready for Gannon to come home. Most importantly, for him to see his family. But second, I'm going to be so ecstatic when I'm able to say to people that I hope they have a really sincere apology for all these theories that have come out online, especially from my husband." Fuck your sincere apology. You will never, ever, ever get that. Possibilities said people have theories on what happened to Gannon because they've been watching too many law shows on TV, and she was perturbed that people were saying he had been pushed off a cliff when they went hiking on Sunday. Yes, I do remember that one floating around. After the sheriff's office reported that Gannon's former stepmartyr was not cooperating with the investigation, theories and rumors and shit really started to fly online. The El Paso County Sheriff's Office publicly announced that they were taking applications for citizen volunteers to register with their incident command team to coordinate search areas. Friday, the office announced 11 groups assisting in search efforts. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children had become involved. They deployed a consultant from their Team Adam program to help. Team Adam is a free resource provided by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to law enforcement, named after Adam Walsh, the abducted and murdered son of co-founders John and Reve Walsh. Team Adam provides rapid on-site assistance to law enforcement agencies and families in critical cases of missing children. As of Friday, the Sheriff's Office had received 72 tips through the Communications Center, Pikes Peak Crime Stoppers, the agency's website, and the phone tip line, all of which were being vetted. And I do remember that they kept imploring that people do not submit their tips over social media. A lot of people didn't listen, though. Civilian-led search parties combed the area in and around the Lorson Ranch neighborhood, where Gannon's home is located. Missing, endangered posters, blue ribbons, and flowers were placed by neighbors, friends, and volunteers around the neighborhood, along with blue light bulbs that were handed out for neighbors' porch lights in Lorson Ranch. Everyone was worried sick about Gannon, except piece of shit. All she wanted to do was cover her tracks, conceal and suppress any and all evidence, cover up, hush up, and clear her good name. Oh, and get her sincere apologies that are owed to her. Pisa said there were 2 really good detectives, and she needed help with her vocabulary words and felt a lawyer could assist her with that. So I immediately stopped. I needed help with the understanding of some of the things they were asking. Isn't she a teacher? Perhaps some of the middle schoolers could help her. The reporter asked her if she had seen any of the online posts and comments about her. Yes, she saw it. In fact, she had an alter ego named Peyton, and sometimes she would argue with herself online, all over Facebook and shit. It was obvious to everyone who Peyton was, you stupid piece of shit. She claims Harley was handcuffed, quote, over the keys in her purse, and they weren't even in her purse. Teabag had 'em in her pocket. Bitch is talking in circles again. And what was all this about Harley serving her country? Perhaps she meant that Harley was going to enlist in the future, or was she in the ROTC in high school? I don't know. We were all baffled by that. Harley has a YouTube channel, and I'll play one of her videos at the end. She only has, I think, 4 videos. And this is a get ready with me video for her very first day of college, and it's dated August 28, 2019, 5 months before Gannon was abused by his wicked stepmartyr, or rather, the final time he was abused by his wicked stepmartyr. But Harley is so very cute. She's soft-spoken and does not need or wear makeup, and I am just so jealous of her skin and her hair. Well, in youth, I think I used to glow at one time, many, many moons ago. Faulty claimed that deputies had guns drawn and told them being Harley and piece of shit, that they were going to shoot without identifying themselves as law enforcement officers. It was so painful to watch when she made Harley come over to the interview and talk Piece of shit. It was like a slow-mo of her throwing her very own daughter under the bus. Quote, "'Cause they want you to verify was Gannon at home after the hike." No, that wasn't the case, disloyalty. I highly doubt that the officers had guns drawn, unless she was being aggressive again, like when she slipped out of her handcuffs as she was being extradited back to Colorado and punched a deputy who then required medical treatment. I hope to hell she's had her shots by now. Pisa claims she didn't know at first that this person was a law enforcement officer, or she would have been very cooperative. Horseshit. And her and Harley were shopping for underwear because they had been harassed. I would assume she means by Al and Landon. Who else would it be if her and Harley didn't have access to their underwear? Were they standing in front of the underwear drawer? Ugh. What they do, T, stand in front of the underwear drawer or something? But she says that the officers approached her without introduction. And then she started bitching about the way people had been reacting. "I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it," she said. "These people have these conspiracy theories. I'm like, people saying he's dead. Why are you saying Gannon's dead? He's not dead. We are going to find Gannon. I'm just ready for Gannon to come home. I would never, never, ever hurt this child. And I know there are some questions out there. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know, but I've cooperated with them," she told KKTV. "We are going to find Gannon, and that's the main goal we all have. I'm just ready for Gannon to come home." She was really trying her best to do her Scarlett O'Hara impersonation. "The tactic started to get when I would answer questions," she told the TV station. "During that time, some of those things made me feel uncomfortable, the way they were saying things, they being the detectives." This was just a lackluster, drivel interview. She went out of her way to over-exaggerate and attempt to make herself look cute when she actually just looks like a stupid skank. Motor mouth. She never shuts up. She talks fast, incessant chatter, tooling around in her silver Nissan Altima, blissfully unaware that it has a GPS tracker on it, courtesy of law enforcement. How did this gentleman that was interviewing her keep his composure while she was yakking? This poor man, but actually he deserves an award. To paraphrase what Shanann said, he should get a gold fucking medal. He didn't laugh, he didn't wet his pants, and then he stood outside the Stauch residence that night and gave a completely unbiased news report with just the right touch of empathy, and he delivered it with class. These traits are sorely lacking in these times. He treated her with kid gloves. I think he was afraid to piss her off and make her go off on him. I would be. Lord help me if she ever gets out of prison. Oh my God, I just thought of that. Oh, brother. Piece of shit. She started off good when she was describing Gannon. He's very kind. He loves to play video games. Blah, blah, blah. Then he was always so kind to the animals, and he was this and he was that. Just talking about Gannon in the past tense, which we all know is a giveaway, dead giveaway. This poor chap that suffered through Piece's interview, get to know him. He's probably going to be covering a lot of the G-Man hero Gannon story. I just don't think that Piece of Shit could comprehend that her attempts to fix this cataclysmic disaster only resulted in making shit worse. She's a lying, cheating, manipulative user, and you say your life is fucked up and sucks? Well, good. Karma's a big, bad bitch, isn't it? And then, at the end, instability launched into the most fake crying act I have ever seen. It was a disgrace That woman is batshit crazy. I don't understand why she was unable to pull this off. I thought her acting skills would be remarkable since she so often plays the victim. But it was kind of fun to witness what a fake, unhappy, dramatic bitch she is. I'm sick of listening to her bullshit. Bye, Letecia. That will be the end of this video. I'll pick up with Saturday, February 1st in the next video. Much love and peace. Thank you for listening.
We just wanted to add a message to Gannon from my family, is that we love you and miss you, and we hope that you come home soon. And Gannon, I can't wait till you can come home and let everyone know that you're okay. We love you.
Tonight, questions are swirling around the stepmother of a missing child case. 11-year-old Gannon Stauch has been missing since Monday, and today we spoke with the woman who was the last person to see him that day.
11 News reporter Spencer Wilson is live in Fountain near the family's home. And Spencer, you got that exclusive interview today with the stepmother.
Yeah, Don and Diane, she never shows her face in that interview. She told me she's getting enough death threats as it is, but she did have a message for the community. She says she has nothing to hide. She says there's a reason she's stayed out of the spotlight.
And my family's getting lots of death threats. We counted over 20-some death threats already. Two, my husband's ex-wife is living in our home, and of course I'm not coming home to do these things and to help with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't.
A lot of the suspicion came when the sheriff's office reported she was not cooperating with their investigation. She says she can explain that too. She told me when detectives interviewed her about Gannon, everything was going okay, until she says the tone of the questions started to twist.
I asked several times, could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? Could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? I was denied. I was told I couldn't get nothing to drink. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I mean, it was continuously that my constitutional rights were violated.
The sheriff's office has confirmed there are no suspects right now, and they've exhausted any leads from people they've already interviewed. A lot of people want to hear about the day Gannon disappeared and the hike he went on with his stepmother at Garden of the Gods.
You know, there was comments about Gannon getting pushed off the hike, and there was comments about this, and that's just not true.
She says the hike was just that, a hike, with lunch afterwards.
And then we ate Burger King afterwards, so.
She can't get specific about what happened after they got home. Investigators told her not to talk about it for now. She wants her message heard.
A lot of people can see that I'm not missing and see that I am being cooperative, but to me, it's okay that they think those things, because the way someone thinks about me, I don't have a problem with that. My main thing is I would never want someone to think that I would hurt Gannon or any of the children in our home, because that's just not the case.
And she told me that she's eagerly awaiting an apology from the entire online community as soon as Gannon is found alive and safe, which she hopes happens soon.
Right, just a huge takeover at the entrance to the neighborhood here. The words "Pray for Gannon" in huge letters over here with blue lights strung across. And it's a very appropriate choice, as I'm told blue is Gannon's favorite color. This community gesture once again showing just how much this young boy is loved.
I love him and I miss him, and that I want him to come home and be safe.
That's 9-year-old Chloe Peterson's message to her neighbor, Gannon Stauch.
He's an awesome little kid, and he's handsome, and he is my best friend.
She and hundreds of other people in the Lorson Ranch community and beyond continuing their search and outreach to bring Gannon home.
Gannon is a good friend of ours. He's out playing basketball in my front yard on a daily basis.
Canberra Peterson helping to organize the blue decorations put up all around the neighborhood.
We've been gone since before 7 a.m. this morning, and our whole idea was to start at Lorson Ranch and be able to come down Fontaine as the point of contact.
And end at Grand Mountain, Gannon School.
Right over here we had a flag made that says Gannon.
I wrote, come home, Gannon, we miss you so much. I hope you come back home.
The community support not stopping here.
I'm gonna go see if there's anything blue I can buy. I've heard everybody is sold out around here. I wanna do light bulbs, I wanna get ribbons and decorate the house, and I just want to wear blue at all times.
We will continue to search, we will continue to pray, we will continue to lean on one another, and we will continue to build one another up until he is home.
And Peterson tells me everyone is invited to come and sign Gannon's flag and leave him a message. As far as a search, volunteers tell me they're looking to start another one tomorrow, but haven't chosen a specific location just yet.
I haven't gone to school in like 2 years. Because I didn't know where to park, and like I don't know where the building is, and I don't really know. I've missed all of my alarms. What's up, guys? So it is the night before I start my first day of college. It's 9:35 and I'm super scared. It shouldn't be that bad. I don't know anybody. I don't know what my classes are. Yeah, actually, it's gonna be bad. I'm sorry, I keep like spinning. I don't know why. I haven't gone to school in like 2 years. Like in school, because I've done online school for the past 2 years. I've missed all of my alarms. And it's 6:06 and I need to hurry up.
You are?
I am Letecia Stauch, which is Gannon's stepmother.
You've been a part of the investigation since the very first time. You were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and not make these false accusations, like the things that have been said that I've disappeared from the community. I haven't been there to help, but there's lots of reasons behind that.
Reasons like death threats, right?
Right. Death threats are one of them. My family's getting lots of death threats. We counted over 20-some death threats already. Two, my husband's ex-wife is living in our home, and of course I'm not coming home to do these things and to help with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't. And then many other things that happened with the El Paso County Police Department, you know, and in doing the investigation I was told I wasn't complying. And could I elaborate on that?
Please do.
Yes, so I asked for an attorney during the interview, and I was denied that by them. I was held because they were blocking the door, and I was told I couldn't leave, and that if I would have touched them, they would have probably, you know, said I still wasn't complying or said I was, you know, trying to run away or something. But during the interview, I asked several times, could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? Could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? I was denied. I was told I couldn't get nothing to drink. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I mean, it was continuously that my constitutional rights were violated.
And that's why you say that they said then you weren't cooperating with the investigation.
That's why they said I wasn't cooperating at that time, correct.
And why did you ask for an attorney at the time?
Well, I asked for an attorney at the time because there was one individual, there was two really good detectives, and so I'm not, you know, going to talk bad about detectives, but the tactics they started to get when I would answer questions, they try to, you know, they're detectives, they're supposed to twist. The one main goal is to find Gannon. But during that time, some of those things made me feel uncomfortable the way they were saying things. So I immediately stopped and felt like an attorney would help me with some of the vocabulary and things like that that I needed help with and understanding some of the things that they were asking.
I'm going to shift gears to what has become a huge online presence of people obviously trying to do the right thing, help find Gannon. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like rumor mongering. Have you seen any of those comments yourself?
We have, and see, that's one of the main things we haven't been around in the public eye because I didn't want to expose my family to it if all these things were going on. You know, there was comments about Gannon getting pushed off the hike, and there was comments about this, and that's just not true. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it. And I would never, never, ever hurt this child. And I know there's some questions out there about, okay, so tell me what happens. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know, but I've cooperated with them, even to the point that we were held with a gun, and my daughter, a 17-year-old who serves our country in the United States Air Force, who has never committed a crime or done anything wrong in her life, was put in handcuffs over the keys that was in her purse so they could take her car.
And they weren't in there?
They weren't even in her car, I mean in her purse.
And
they were in my pocket.
You originally didn't even know it was the law enforcement officers?
I didn't know it was a law enforcement officer because when he came out, I guess he was putting his jacket on, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. He was adjusting and happened to catch me. But I saw the gun and I panicked originally and kind of thought, oh gosh, I got the, like, who's this guy? And then once I realized it was the sheriff's office, I was totally okay, but they still had a gun and told me they were going to shoot me. But I was really concerned about my daughter, asking why she was being detained in handcuffs and things like that, when that shouldn't even happen for a child. That shouldn't happen for someone who was standing inside of a store shopping because we couldn't have any clothes because all of our clothes were here. If we came here and got clothes, you know, we would be harassed. So she went to purchase some underwear and things like that and was put in the handcuffs in the store, you know, and then brought out with men with guns. And there's that's just not okay. You know, they could have approached me and said, hi, I'm with El Paso County, can I please get this, instead of the way that it happened.
I'm just gonna check her shot. Doing great. I want to make sure that we're still good on recording, still can hear you okay. Okay, yeah, sounds like we're good. Every once in a while my mic will give out and I want to make sure that's not gonna happen here. Okay. I should try and clarify here. Not necessarily crime rates, but the way that people are reacting online to rumors about you with the source.
Oh yes, wow. The rumors have gotten so bad. I pretty much have been told at least 10 different ways that these people have these conspiracy theories. I guess they watch a lot of law shows and maybe they have all these theories on how Gannon is dead. And that's what they're saying. So I'm like, why are you saying Gannon is dead? He is not dead. We are going to find Gannon. And that's the main goal that we all have, my family has. Just because you haven't seen us, we have that same goal. And we've been out searching. My aunt has been out searching. My family has been out searching. We all have been doing that together so that we could protect each other.
How does it feel when not only you have a lost child who you are in care of, but then people blaming you for that child not being there?
You know, I'm just ready for Gannon to come home. Most importantly, for him to see his family. But second, I am going to be so ecstatic when I'm able to say to people that I hope they have a really sincere apology for all these theories that have came out online, for all the things they said that I have done or people have done. And I just want everyone to know that we're going to find Gannon. And I love him so much. I've helped taking care of him for so long.
Can you talk to me a little bit about him? I don't know him.
Gannon is so kind, and he loves to play video games. That's one of his favorite things. He loves Sonic and Mario, and you know, he's always helpful, and he was always so helpful with the dogs around the house, and we have 2 little cute dogs, and he was always like a person I could say, Gannon, can you go do this? And he would do it right away. You know, sometimes with kids we have to remind them and things like that, and that's okay, but he was so sweet and able to help anyone. He could notice when you're sick and say, are you okay? And such a kind heart.
I know you just said that you can't say anything about the investigation, so you can just say so again if you can't answer this, but is there anything we can hear about the hike? Was there a hike? That just seems like rumors right now.
You know what? Could we bring my daughter over here? Because she can go and say that, you know, she came home from work after the hike and she can verify that Gannon was at our home.
Okay, yeah, that's fine with me. If she doesn't want to, that's okay, but you're allowed to ask her. Not an okay so far?
Yes. I need Harley. Because they want you to verify was Gannon at home after the hike. Because you didn't go to the hike, but you came home from work.
Do you want me to just say yes?
No, just answer the question. Yes, you came home from work and you can verify Gannon was at home. Yeah. I told her she didn't have to be too in-depth because she is still, you know, a child, but I want to make sure that someone knows that there's another person to verify that Gannon.
Sure.
Does she need to hold this?
No.
Yes, so I came home later that evening. I was at work and I can verify that he was there that night.
So there was a hike that you guys went on, but then you guys came home?
Yes.
Where'd you guys go hiking?
Garden of the Gods.
Garden of the Gods, okay. I guess when...
And then we ate Burger King afterwards, so, you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then it just was, I'm going to go to play at a friend's house. And then it was just, I'm off to go to play at a friend's house.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to like comment on that anymore, and for that reason is because some things have been turned and twisted, and you know, that was one of those stories you were talking about where people say things. We had to hear things like who would let their child go out at dark and things like that, and that's just why I don't want to answer that. If I had to give, I'm not gonna say that part.
That's okay.
Never mind.
Right.
I could take that out.
I understand that it gets tricky with legal stuff. Do you feel like I asked you what I need to? Do you feel like this is going to help kind of turn the tide of what feels like a witch hunt, in my opinion?
I hope. Am I on camera now?
You are still.
Okay. I think that a lot of people can see that I'm not missing and see that I am being cooperative, but to me, it's okay that they think those things because the way someone thinks about me, I don't have a problem with that. My main thing is I would never want someone to think that I would hurt Gannon or any of the children in our home, because that's just not the case. I've spent my whole entire life working so hard in education. There was even things online that was talking about my education license and I shouldn't even be a teacher, and they just didn't know that. Like, we moved on a military move and I didn't finish out my contract, so I gave up my license in that state. It had nothing to do with any criminal activity, you know, or any of those things. And it just got blown out of proportion on my professional status, you know. And
do you feel like these are just internet detectives who think they know what they're doing?
it definitely is. And, you know, here's the thing that kind of saddens me. It's like, if you're going to talk about someone like that and have a witch hunt out for them, why would you even care, like, about doing those things? Because this is a child. You're telling me that you're just as mean, you're just as hateful to talk about someone else like that. That's how I feel. Like, we just should not. We should all come together and wait until the end and see what happens, because Gannon's going to come home.
Any message for Gannon?
The message for Gannon I have is, Gannon, when you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened. And then I really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone who has made all those things, especially from my husband.
We just wanted to add a message to Gannon from my family, is that we love you and miss you, and we hope that you come home soon. And Gannon, I can't wait till you can come home and let everyone know that you're okay. We love you.
Gannon, I promise it's the last time I'm going to ask you. I'm just freaked out, okay? Are you sure you didn't do it on purpose? He did it. Okay, you promise. He promised. On purpose. Pinky promise. Pinky. Okay, alright, so, listen. Alright, we're going to have to sell stuff to fix it, okay? So, we figure out what we got to sell. We can sell the sofa. We can sell whatever, because we got to get it fixed, so lady. Don't be mad at us and kick us out of the house. Okay? You got it?